Let's talk about how to fake detail in your renders. It's common knowledge that the more geometry you have, the slower the rendering will be, which is something that is hard to avoid when you are creating close-up renders, where details are necessary, but for distant objects you don't need the same amount of geometry because the detail will be lost anyways. For example, trees are very complex objects, and they usually require a lot of geometry to match the complex shape and proportions and to display all necessary details. But if you want to add trees to the background, then instead of a 3D tree that has 50,000 polygons, you can just download a PNG file of a tree from the internet and import the image as a plane to the scene. Once you make sure that the alpha is connected to the alpha channel and the blend more in material properties is set to any of these settings, you can have the same result as if you were using a 3D object, with the exception that you are only using 4 vertices, which is an insane difference. Of course, this depends on the scene, the conditions, the distance from the camera, whether the object is in focus or not, and other factors. But the crazy thing about this method is that you can create a whole forest by using one single image and still use less geometry than by using one 3D asset. It is the best method for static renders since there is no camera movement that would expose the fact that it's a 2D image. But it can also work with animations as well, where you put high poly 3D assets in the foreground and images in the background. By the way, you can also do this with volumes like dust, clouds, or fog. So keep this in mind because this way you can save hours, days, or maybe even weeks of render time.